Hey everybody, welcome to Luxe Life. I'm your host, Candice Bar, and I am in the car on my way to San Diego right now, but I had to do the interview today because I had to grab our guests. We both have pretty busy schedules, and we were like, if we don't do it now, we probably won't do it. And I'm so excited to have her. We've been talking about doing this interview for some time now, and I want to introduce Miss Lisa Winston to Luxe Life. Welcome, Lisa.
Yay, thank you for having me. I wish I was in the car with you. We could go to San Diego and have a blast.
I'm so excited to have you. I mean, we have your art in our studio, and it's the best art. It's like this beautiful, energetic art. You can totally feel the piece. Like when I was unwrapping it, you can totally feel the pieces. Like we're so blessed to have your art in our studio. It just vibes with us so much.
Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that you asked me to place it there. You know, that's the whole purpose of what I'm doing right now. I was a watercolor artist for most of my life. And, you know, the universe said to me one day, enough of this little detailed stuff, let's let go, because I'm a control freak, right? So I started, I fell in love with fluid art. And so when I started doing that and started letting things go, it was crazy, the stuff that appeared and the energy that actually came through it. So it's amazing. It's so much fun to do.
Well, let everyone know, like, a little bit about you, a little bit more about what you do. I mean, I know that you know the show is about entrepreneurship and all that's in between, but I want them to get to know about you a little bit.
Boy, that's a long, it could be a long-winded conversation, girl. Well, it's been a long journey for me. I started out, I've been a professional vocalist for 40 years. I had a band in San Diego for 20 years. And I was on the road before that with the Spiral Staircase and all these, national bands and everything. But I didn't really know who I was. I was, in that process of really trying to discover who I was. And so after I lost my house to wildfire in 2007, and I was diagnosed 2 months later with breast cancer, I had a huge shift. It was a turning point in my life. And I just was miserable in a toxic 15-year relationship. And I decided to leave. And that was actually through an intuitive hit that I got. It was time to go. So I packed up my daughter and myself. I left and I went in discovery of my life mission. Well, that's been like 9 years. And it's taken me 9 years to get to where I am. And I became a coach, a life coach, and I did various versions of coaching for years. And I did a lot of other stuff too, but I just wasn't feeling it. In business, it was so hard. Yeah. And doing the background stuff isn't my forte anyway. So I'm not a big tech person, I'm creative. And so I don't really like doing all that stuff, but I did it anyway. I was in several coaching groups. And then it was funny because through more life events, like my mother passed away in 2018, I was with her when she died. And I wrote my book, Your Turning Point, and I had all these great things happen and some bummer things happen. And I really, of course, I met Dr. Joe. I interviewed him for one of my summits back in 2017 early, and he and I had a massive connection, which we weren't to find out about until mid 2018, really. Wow. So everything was like, I got to a point earlier that I was so miserable. I was on my knees, right? I was just praying for God, the universe, whatever, to come show me or direct me or guide me because I was so miserable. And I started doing Qigong and various, reading various spiritual books and things like that. So it really was this, I just actively was sick of my life, and I actively took a role in trying to change it, whatever that meant. Fast forward to today. About a little over a year ago, I just was still sick of coaching. Yeah. This is hard. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't like it. I'm not getting any enjoyment from it. I'm 63 years old. My parents are gone. What is my purpose in life, really? That's right. When I discovered the fluid art. And that's when I knew intuitively that I was here to do that. And that was scary because of the stigma, right, around musicians, artists, that you can't make money doing what you love or doing art. But I committed to it. I knew it was something that I was here to do, and I'm doing it full blast. And
I think that's a great point to bring up because it's like, no, you may not have made money doing that, but doesn't mean that everyone else can't make money doing that.
Exactly right.
Especially when it's, your life purpose, your soul purpose. Yes. It brings you joy. Money is energy, as you know. Yes. And if you're in like a high vibe, it can't help but come to you.
That's exactly right. That's so true because we all, there's this wonderful thing that I do that I learned from a friend of mine who's a really well-known artist, and she's actually one of my mentors, Jessica Hughes. She's going to be on Joe's show, actually.
Okay.
And she talked about how she, for an entire year, she wrote about 11 journals of something called future gratitude. Now she wrote, but I started doing it like verbally out loud. Like, yeah. I cannot believe people are just coming to me. They love my work. It's turning them on. It's lighting them up. They're just like, I'm not even promoting. When you start doing this process, it just elevates your vibes. You start just you're electrified all over. And that really starts that whole process of, it's attractive, right? It attracts people. So that's what I started to really do, because I did have some downer moments around my art. That's why I have a mentor, right? Because we all go back to those places, those dark places. Yeah. But Candice, we really are all being called right now to our soul purpose in this time and space. Absolutely, without a doubt. This is the time to jump into what it is that you're here to do and what you love.
I love that you brought that up, because I was having that conversation with somebody else not too long ago. And it's like, there's something going on with time. There's something going on with vortexes. There's something going on. Things are opening up. Things are coming to light, coming to fruition. Like systems as we know them are breaking. And it's really a time to be in your space, be happy, bring out your genius, bring out your value right now.
Well, I love that you mentioned that, because we really are watching the collapse of the way things used to be. We signed up to be here now, and it seems really hard, right? I collapsed with Lyme disease in 2019, and then 2020 the pandemic hit, right? So I was home for 3 years straight.
Oh my God.
Everything's different now. What do I do? And the thing is that if we don't elevate our vibes, if we don't find what it is that we love or enjoy, then we're going to be stuck on the dark side. There's so much negative energy coming at us right now. We really need to protect ourselves, but more so than that, stay away from a lot of the social media posts. I'm not saying don't be active in things like voting and trying to change things the way you can change them, in a way that you can change them, but you have to worry about you. You get to, elevate your vibrations, do what you love. I really believe that creatives right now are here to heal the planet. We're in this transition. It's a transition from what it was to what it is. And I don't know how long that's going to take. But not only is it healing for me to create it, it's healing when I send it out to people. I've had people somebody bought a wealth piece from me, and she said within, I don't know, a week or two of hanging it in her office, that a settlement she had been waiting for, a large one for like 5 years, came in. So that's my job, to just infuse that stuff. And some people go, well, how can you have energy in art? Well, how can you not? Because everything is energy.
Right. Absolutely.
But we need to
I like what you're saying, because it kind of brings the attention to, it's like, there are a lot of things going on in the world, more so than we have probably dealt with in this life. And there's more stuff coming up. I'm sure of it, but keeping in mind your personal power, because we do have quite a bit of personal power, regardless of what we're told. We have a lot of personal power. We have a lot of personal responsibility, and our intuition is high, and we are powerful beings. We are energy. So we're able to create whatever we want, and you don't have to give up your power. You don't have to feel powerless because of circumstances.
You are 100% spot on. I loved it because my daughter and I were talking the other day when they passed the bill about Roe versus Wade or whatever, and we all had a cow. My daughter was like, first she was like, I'm a protester. Well, she's getting older. She's close to 30 now. So she used to be I'm going out there and I'm going to protest. But she said, Mom, there are ways that we can do things that are more, they're more helpful. So like she's a metalsmith, and she creates these gorgeous pieces of jewelry. And so what she does is she created a piece that talked about how abortion saves lives. And then she had a raffle, and then she donated the money to a cause for women, like in the South, that, to a place where they get money to have abortions or whatever. So I thought, how cool is that? We are powerful. We can create whatever it is we want. We can actually, we can create change within the system. People go, how can you change things? Well, by changing yourself, by changing your focus, right?
Right.
That's how you do it. So,
Sometimes putting too much emphasis on something makes it worse. Sometimes letting it go makes it better.
Well, I believe that's true. And the law of attraction, what you focus on grows. So just, imagine the whole planet or the whole world or the whole US focusing on these problems. And there are a lot of problems. And so what are we creating with that focus? So maybe it seems like we're a minority because we're focusing on the good, but why not be a part of the change? Why not, get your energy congealed with other like-minded people to actually create that change?
And again, going positive, high vibe, not going, you're trying to create a positive outcome. You can't create a positive outcome with a low vibe action.
You can't. Although sometimes it's frustrating because, we always say that the world's waking up, and I think it is in certain regards, but it just seems like there are so many people still living in the dark.
And at this point, in my opinion, it's a willful ignorance.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great label. Willful.
Because if you're not seeing what's really going on, I don't know what you're or deciding not to see, but it's all being shown for a reason.
Absolutely. And I love that because I really feel that this is the time where we're supposed to awaken.
Yes.
Awaken to what we're here to do, awaken to, supporting other people. It's like, I support creatives. I'm in this beautiful group of creatives and we are just all lifting each other up and going for the goal. Right. But also just to awaken people. Like if you're not what you consider a creative, everybody has both sides of the brain. Like I don't do math at all. Like I'm an idiot when it comes to all that stuff. The only thing that works for me is my creative side. But everybody has a gift. Everybody has, some people create digitally, some people do gardening, some people do all kinds of things. But on top of that, we don't play enough. We focus on the bad, and then we're bummed and we go have a drink or we go eat junk food, whatever it is. And again, that's where we're focused in that victim mentality, that victim phase. So we're supposed to wake up and start living life from a more joyful space. And I think that's a choice.
Agreed. I want to ask you, Lisa, do you have, like, when you're not having the best days, you're kind of like, you need to get yourself out of a funk or, and not everything was going your way that day. Do you have a routine or do you have a ritual that you do either in the morning or night or whenever you need it that keeps you in a positive space?
Well, that's a great question because that's a very real question. Yes, I have funky days. If it isn't the line that I'm dealing with, it's, a downer in my business because my mindset just took a plunge or, like the other day, I stubbed my toes so bad. I thought I broke them and I'm like, oh my God, am I getting old? No, I just wasn't paying attention. So things happen to people, real things happen to people. And so we have to, number one, remember that we are human. We're having a human experience. We get to love ourselves through it, give ourselves some grace and space. First of all, no beating ourselves up, no inner critic, punching ourselves in the arm. I think the biggest thing I do is, number one, I try to get sleep because I have trouble getting sleep. I always feel better when I do that. I try to eat better. I do a lot of gratitude, future gratitude, laying in bed, even when I don't want to, starting to say gratitude. I'm so grateful for the bed that I'm laying in. I'm so I mean, if we start comparing, it's called it's kind of like a positive comparison, not comparing ourselves to other people, but comparing ourselves. Like, when I was sick, it was so funny because I was complaining all the time because I was so ill. I had so many symptoms. And Joe said to me one day, he said, what's working in your body? And I looked down, I was like, oh, my fingernails are growing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a comparison of what's working and what's not working and looking for the good, looking at what really is happening. Our minds will take a plunge because that's what our minds do. Our minds are here to keep us safe. They only know what the past held. They don't know what the future is or any possibilities, right? Our minds are not, they're not unlimited like the universal mind that we're attached to. So we have to play these games. And we really do have to play games just to get ourselves out of things like that. Like, I think, Joe's friend, Mendy Odlin, who did the book about, what if it all goes right? You play the what if up game. Like instead of, well, what if I die? What if I get sick? What if I'm broke? What if I end up homeless? Well, it's like, what if you end up more rich than you could ever imagine? What if you,
what if you're able to travel wherever you want and stay in whatever places you want, help whoever you want?
Yes. I mean, games. It's really, it sounds silly, but that's really what I feel that a lot of this life experience is. It's, are you going to take it so seriously that you completely bum out your whole life? Or are you going to say, hey, I'll play the game and watch it change when you do?
Yeah.
Watch it change.
You're right, because it really is. And I've said this throughout the years. And like, it really is just one big game. Yep. And it's going to be how you handle it or decide to. It's one massive decision.
It is. And, you know, some people look at that terminology, a game, as something negative, like bad things happen. I had a friend who just recently lost her daughter unexpectedly, which is absolutely tragic. I don't know what I'd do if I ever lost mine. I have no idea. Right. But again, it's so the word game, we have to still remember that, you know, we're not in control of a lot of stuff.
That's right.
But like you said, we are in control of our thoughts, our decisions. And yes, there are times that we grieve, and yes, there are hard things in life, but still we get to look at things from a different perspective. I don't know, like I pray that I'm never put in that position, right? Because that would be really tough. But I've lost my house to wildfire. I've had lots of traumatic things happen, and I chose to look at them differently. They were hard, but they grew me. So that
is a great point. It's like, yeah, you did go through stuff. We're humans. We're going to go through stuff. That's part of the journey here. How you decided to deal with it. You could have been like, I don't want to ever live in a house again because my other house burnt down and it triggers me to live in a house. It could be all these things going down the rabbit hole, but you decided not to do that.
No, I just, I'm a student of life for life. And I have a lot to learn. You know, it's like I feel like the older I get, the dumber I get about certain things. Seriously. But life is always speaking to us. Life is always trying to show us the right way to go. It's trying to guide us and love us. And you can look at the universe as a negative, horrible place, but I see beauty. I see a sunshine out, and I breathe air that I'm given that's free of charge. Yeah. You know, I have a heart that beats without a battery. I mean, I've given birth to a child. I don't know how that happened, but you know, I don't know. There's so many things that we can be grateful for and look around at and see that are miraculous and magical, seriously. Or we can choose not to see those things. I choose to see them.
You know, I want to ask you, you said you made some major shifts and changes in your life. And so that's not easy for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like change. Especially it's super uncomfortable for them. What was, you know, usually people change when they have to, right? Like when there is no other option here but to change. Right. What was that like for you while you were in that transition?
Are you talking about my most recent one when I went into the art?
Yes.
Because there have been so many transitions. I think the thing that propelled me into those transitions was unhappiness. You know, it's just things were too hard. And I feel like I want to have more fun. I want to be more relaxed. I don't want to control everything because I'm not in control anyway. So I think when those things come for me also intuitively, and I know intuition plays a big part in your life as well, but when you can see those little those baby steps, those little pieces of guidance and sense them and take action on them, then you know you're going in the right direction. Like I said to you, when I got this is crazy. I had a guy who called me who I'd talked to for like in a year. I had done a coaching program, a leadership program with him in San Diego years ago. And he just showed me this artwork he did one day, and it happened to be fluid art. And I literally lit up like a Christmas tree. Like it was one of those intuitive download moments where I'm like, you know, and I hadn't had that in forever. Yeah. And so I took it, I played with it. And then of course my mind went, well, you can't make money doing art. And so, you know, just do the stuff you do. But I was bored. Previously, I had tried to do my watercolor and I was bored with it. I was just like, I'm tired of drawing hummingbirds and butterflies and stuff, you know? So it was so funny because when I experienced that intuitive knowing that I'm supposed to go in a different direction, I take that step. Now, sometimes you take the step because you're excited, right? But then all of a sudden you land. Like I started making it a business and investing in myself and all kinds of things. And all of a sudden I was like, you know, what if this doesn't work out? What if I'm completely off track? What if I made a mistake and I didn't hear the right thing? But I knew that. And even now, Candice, I've been doing this for a year and 2 or 3 months, which is a long time, but I'm still moving forward, still having those moments of doubt, picking myself up and going, no, I know that's the way I'm supposed to go. So you have to listen to your guidance, your inner guidance, your intuition. You get to be a part, like I'm part of masterminds and groups because I used to be a lone wolf all the time, but you can't always get through the tough times without some cheerleaders behind you.
1,000,000%.
So,
Sometimes you need more help than you think you do.
yeah. And you have to be humble enough to, ask for the
That's
help.
right.
And so we all have trouble getting through, but if we stay on course, fear is a liar. It just is.
Yep.
And so you have to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, or as many of my friends say, buy a set of, bigger panties or whatever, and, get into them. So it's like, you just have to have that fire. You have fire within you. You already have it, but you have to connect to it. You have to make the choice to do it. Nobody can do it for you.
I have a really good friend, and I would say definitely mentor in my life. And he's like, it's already done for you. It's
Right.
already done. Like you're worrying, you're doing this, you're doing that. But imagine it's already done for you. Like, what are you worried about? It's already written for you. It's already yours. It's already done. And that takes away, for me, at least when I hear that, it takes away a lot of worry, a lot of stress, a lot of like, it's already done.
I love that. And it really is. It really is. I have to tell you, I've had so many situations recently, but I'll tell you this anyway. I'll tell your audience this because it's kind of cool. I have when my dad died, my mom and dad died, I found this like not a plaque, but it's like a scroll from my dad when he was in the Navy. And it said his name. And it said in the year 1947, he sailed upon the USS Winston, AKA 94. And when I found it, I still get chills to this day because that was my daughter's grandfather. And 47 years after that scroll was made, my daughter was born. Her last name is Winston, and she was born in 1994. Now, if you go back and listen to that again, right now I have chills because
I actually I have my hair is standing up.
If you look at something like that, you can't deny that there's something greater than us that has control of everything. And whether or not, that says that, our lives are pre-paved or whatever. Yeah. I don't know the details. I just know that something new, that my daughter was going to be born 47 years after my dad had that experience. And I mean, all the details are there. It can't be just a coincidence. So when you say that it's already done for you, I have a feeling you're right.
I feel like that because in my life, I've had so many instances in my life that's like, wow. Like if, when you ask like, how can today get any better? And then the day shows you how it can get better for you. It's like, you have to have some faith here. It's like people who, say they're spiritual, for example, but that spirituality goes to a certain point and it stops. Where's your faith?
Right. That's exactly right. And like you said, you have to almost like speak with life. You have to talk to life. You get to love life because life will be over one day for each of us. And of course, the older we get, the more we appreciate the days we have. But truly, if you're still on the planet, if you have a job, a roof over your head, your family's healthy, whatever's going on in your life, you have things that you can be grateful for. I have had moments when I call them heaven on earth moments, where I am just feeling so connected to the universe. And I just start, it's like, I'm not religious, right? But it's almost like praising God, where I just get into the space of gratitude. Thank you. Oh my gosh. And I feel the electricity, I feel connection when that happens. So I know personally that life is for you. Life wants to be here for you.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Lisa.
I know you do.
Yeah. It's powerful. And it's once you're in that space, it's lovely. It's like, you know what love feels like when you're in that space.
Oh, unconditional love.
Yes.
Yeah. Which we're not used to usually. So yeah.
Yes. I know we're not, but hopefully, like we were saying earlier, hopefully like more and more people are feeling this or seeing this or open to it. You just got to be open to things. We really make a lot of things difficult and it doesn't have to be.
We do. And I love this conversation anyway, because again, we're in a time that's so difficult right now. And so many people are focused on just the news. I don't even watch television, Joe, and I don't
watch TV either.
None of it. Right. Things happen. And my daughter's like, you don't know that I'm like, no. So I know that's like burying your head in the sand, maybe, but I choose to manage my vibrations. It's my choice. If I want to live in my own little heaven on earth right here, well, that's great. Cause you know what? I'm not just taking care of myself, I'm actually trying to create things for other people. I'm trying to be a healer to the planet.
And you have to protect your
Yes.
space and your
Yes.
energy, and not be told like, okay, we'll have this feeling over here. Oh, this is happening. Have this reaction over here. Oh, go over here now. Go, like, you're not going to manipulate my emotions like that. I'm not doing that with you.
Yeah. Well, that's why I decided not to post political and religious things on my Facebook or social media.
Yes, I'm with you.
The nut cases are coming out of the woodwork. So I just decided, I'll stay away from those people.
Yes.
So again, it's a choice.
I also too, like, people who get like up in arms about every single thing that's happening in the world, there's always gonna be stuff happening, but people who really feed into that, it just tells me they have the time to do so. Right. If you just directed that time toward literally anything else more productive for you, it'd be much better.
Yeah. Could you imagine what a life they'd have if they put that much energy into something positive?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking toxic positivity, because there are so many conversations around that. I'm not saying pretend everything's great, smooth it over. Oh my God. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's kind of like the Pollyanna moment. Joe and I talk about this all the time, because Pollyanna really did affect change in her community. If you saw the movie at the end, because of who she was, even though everybody was down on her at first and they thought she was just full of it. Right.
Yeah. So
you get to choose your way of life. And I think a lot of times we don't even see the impact we have because we're doing that.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
Yeah. Super important.
Do you have a nighttime ritual or a morning ritual? Like, are you someone who meditates?
Yeah. You know what I do? What I've been doing the last month or two is I found some wonderful crystal bowl healing sound baths. And because I used to always teach about elevating your vibrations. That's, by having things around you, by choosing to listen to things, reading books, watching things that elevate you. And so I literally every night before I go to bed, because I was having trouble sleeping anyway, I put in the crystal bowl sound healing bath, like for the end. And you can find all different ones. I can't even remember the woman that I listened to because she's so amazing. But things started happening weeks after I started listening. My body started feeling better. Things just started going a different way in certain regards. And I could tell that I was literally raising the vibration of my cells, every cell of my body. I was bringing light in. So that is one of my biggest ways to meditate. I have trouble with regular meditation, and I've tried it a million different ways. So I prefer to listen to some music, listen to something very soothing and healing and elevating. And so that's what I do before I go to bed.
I'm with you. I also have trouble meditating. I think most people that I know have trouble meditating unless they're used to it. It's a daily practice. I never got into it. So, I can do moments. I love gratitude. I can do moments of different things. I will do the 5-minute journal every morning, which doesn't take 5 minutes. I think it takes 2 minutes actually. But it just, I read my tarot cards. That's my practice of my tools. Yeah. Anything for even a moment of connection, because once you get into the day, you're into the day. So I love the idea of listening to crystal bowls, even on YouTube, just kind of background noise to help go to sleep, but also it is raising your vibe. And I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And I love what you're talking about, journaling. Again, I think one of the biggest things that your listeners can do is to do a lot of the future gratitude journaling, or even just gratitude journaling, or just speaking it. Because I'm telling you, the woman that I work with, who's my mentor, Jessica, she has an incredible story, which you'll hear about at one point. But anyway, she went from 0 to 6 figures in her business by literally sitting and just writing now she writes for hours. I'm not that devoted, but, she has 11 books in a year of journals, future gratitude journals, and literally pre-paving her future, pre-paving people coming in, and her life is exploding open. So you have to be committed, and you don't have to be that committed. You can be just committed a little bit, but remember, your intention is what sets the tone for where you're going, right? So if you intend,
even if you can get into this, Abraham Hicks says 17 seconds of the feeling of it. If you can get into the feeling of it, that becomes a reality.
Yes. I mean, just in we were talking about meditation, just sit and think about someone you love or something that happened that brought you joy, to get that love, frequency going in your heart. You'll feel it, and hold that. 17 seconds isn't a very long time. So I love that you brought that up. Yeah. It doesn't have to be very long. Just do it consistently.
Yeah, people spend hours and hours on complete BS. You can do 17 seconds.
Trust me, I did hours of Qigong and I was like, I don't have the time to do this. Give me something easy.
So now you're doing the art that you love. And again, I call it energy art, because that's how I feel about it. And it's really, you can feel like your heart and soul and energy in the paintings. And it's really fabulous.
I love that. It's funny because one of the first pieces that I sent out was to Arielle Ford, who's a friend. And I literally channeled Debbie, her sister, and some other, I don't know who they were that came through, but the energy of the painting was off the charts. And then I sent it to her and she's like, oh my God. Oh. So that's what really got me on the kick of almost like channeling, over, just setting an intention that these pieces will be filled with love, prosperity, joy for everybody, and healing too. So it's trippy, but it's real.
I feel it. I know you're doing your purpose. Like it's doing exactly what you want it to do, as someone who has your paintings in their place.
Yeah.
I could talk to you forever. I'm going to have you back on for sure, because we could talk and talk.
Oh, no, I would love it. We don't talk at all, right? So this is our chance.
How can people find you?
Yeah, well, I have 2 websites, but if you go to my other website, you can check me out all around. If you want to check out my story and what I used to do, you can just go to lisaawinston.com. The bodybuilder Lisa Winston stole my URL, so I had to put an A in there. So lisaawinston.com.
Okay.
If you want to check out my artwork, go to, I wrote it down. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? art.lisaawinston.com. So art.lisaawinston.com. And you can see an example of some of the things I do. I'm doing a lot of stuff on social media, some virtual art sales and things on my Facebook page.
You can find it on Instagram as well.
Facebook, Instagram. Yeah. And that's where I'm doing a lot of the stuff that I'm showing, techniques on how to do things and sharing my pieces and having some sales and things. So yeah, I'm out there.
Yeah. So check out Lisa, check out her pieces. She's amazing. Awesome vibe, awesome energy, really, really beautiful pieces. I have to tell you, we will have her back on because there's so much more to talk about with you, Lisa.
Oh my gosh. I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking the time.
This went way too fast. Have fun in San Diego without me.
Next time you gotta come.
Oh,
you have to come.
I'm down for it.
Again, check out Lisa. She's amazing. Again, thank you for taking the time, Lisa. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. And we will see you all again next week. Bye, everybody.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.